The USS Leviathan, a state-of-the-art nuclear-powered submarine, was the pride of the U.S. Navy. Armed with advanced sonar, a crew of seasoned submariners, and cutting-edge technology, it was built to venture deeper than any vessel before it. Its latest mission was a classified reconnaissance operation in the Mariana Trench. A routine venture, they were assured, despite its ominous depths. Commander Nathan Heller, a 20-year Navy veteran, stood in the control room as the Leviathan descended into the pitch-black waters. The hum of the engines and the rhythmic ping of the sonar were the only sounds. "Depth?" Heller asked. 30,000 feet and descending, sir," Lieutenant Mark Jensen replied, his voice steady. The Leviathan was equipped to handle extreme pressures, but the tension among the crew was palpable. The Mariana Trench was uncharted territory, and legends of its mysteries and dangers had circulated for decades. "Sonar's clear," said Chief Petty Officer Elena Morales. "No contacts so far." "Good," Heller said, though he couldn't shake the unease creeping into his chest. At 35,000 feet, the ocean's darkness was absolute. The only light came from the submarine's dim interior and the occasional bioluminescent flicker outside. "Commander," Morales called out, her voice tinged with confusion. "I've got something on sonar. It's strange." Heller stepped to her console. On the screen was a faint, irregular blip. "Could be a whale," Jensen suggested. "Sperm whales can dive this deep." Morales shook her head. "It's not moving like a whale, and the size, it's enormous." The blip disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. "Keep tracking it," Heller ordered. "I want to know if it comes back." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but no one spoke their fears aloud. An hour later, as the Leviathan neared the trench floor, a sound pierced the silence. A low, guttural screech that reverberated through the hull. It was unlike anything the crew had heard before, a mix of grinding metal and an animal's growl. "What the hell was that?" Morales said, her hands gripping the sonar controls. "Sonar is clear," Jensen said, scanning the readouts. "Whatever it was, it's not showing up." "Maybe the pressure's messing with the equipment," said Ensign Ryan Carter, though his voice lacked conviction. "Pressure doesn't cause that," Morales muttered. "All stations report," Heller barked into the comm. The replies came back clear. "No damage, no malfunctions." "Keep us steady," Heller said, though his gut told him something was terribly wrong. As the Leviathan hovered above the trench floor, the blip returned. This time, it was closer. Much closer. "Commander," Morales said, her voice barely above a whisper, "it's right on top of us." The sonar showed the object descending from above, impossibly fast. Before Heller could issue a command, the submarine jolted violently. The lights flickered, and alarms blared. "Report!" Heller shouted. "External hull breach detected," Jensen said. "Section 12, automatic seals engaged." "Sonar's offline," Morales cried. "We're blind." The submarine shook again, as if something massive had latched onto it. Outside, the faint glow of bioluminescent lights illuminated a terrifying sight, a shadowy, monstrous form with appendages as long as the submarine itself. Its eyes, glowing faintly blue, seemed to pierce the hull. "It's alive," Carter whispered, staring at the external cameras. The creature slammed into the Leviathan again, forcing it downward. The hull groaned under the immense pressure as warning lights flashed across the control room. "Depth is increasing," Jensen shouted. "We're at 38,000 feet and falling." "Engines full reverse," Heller commanded. The engines roared, but the creature's strength was overwhelming. It dragged the submarine deeper into the trench, its glowing eyes fixed on its prey. "Fire torpedoes," Heller ordered. The Leviathan's torpedo bay unleashed 2 Mark 48s. The explosions lit up the abyss, briefly revealing the creature in its entirety, a nightmare of sinewy limbs, razor-sharp mandibles, and a pulsating, translucent body. It recoiled, releasing the submarine. "Engines to full!" Heller shouted. "Get us out of here!" The submarine began to rise, but the creature wasn't done. It circled back, slamming into the rear thrusters. The Leviathan spiraled downward, deeper into the trench. At 40,000 feet, the submarine hit the trench floor with a deafening crash. The lights flickered and died, plunging the crew into darkness. Emergency power kicked in, bathing the control room in a dim red glow. "Status?" Heller asked, his voice strained. "Engines are offline," Jensen said. "Hull integrity is holding, but we're not going anywhere." "Sonar's still down," Morales added. "We've got no eyes." The creature's screech echoed through the water, sending chills through the crew. "Can we repair the engines?" Heller asked. "It'll take time," Jensen replied. "And if that thing comes back, it will come back," Morales interrupted. "We need to be ready." Heller gathered the remaining senior crew in the mess hall, now a makeshift command center. "We're not surviving this unless we fight back," he said. "We lure it in, hit it with everything we've got, and hope it's enough." "And if it's not?" Carter asked. "Then we don't make it out," Heller said bluntly. The plan was simple. Use the submarine's external lights to attract the creature and detonate the remaining torpedoes at point-blank range. It was a desperate gamble, but desperation was all they had. As the external lights flickered to life, the creature returned, drawn to the glow. Its massive form loomed above the submarine, casting eerie shadows across the trench floor. "Here it comes," Morales said, her voice trembling. The creature latched onto the Leviathan, shaking it violently. Inside, the crew braced for impact as Heller activated the torpedoes. "Fire!" he shouted. The explosion tore through the water, engulfing the creature in a fiery burst. For a moment, the abyss was still. "Did we get it?" Carter asked. Before anyone could answer, the creature emerged from the smoke, its translucent body now glowing with an eerie red light. It was injured but angrier than ever. "Brace for impact!" Heller yelled. The creature slammed into the submarine, its claws piercing the hull. Water gushed into the lower decks as alarms blared. "We're not making it out," Morales said, gripping her console. "Maybe not," Heller replied, "but we're taking it with us." Heller made the decision no commander ever wanted to make. "Set the reactor to overload," he ordered. "Are you sure?" Morales asked, her eyes wide. "It's the only way," Heller said. "We can't let this thing reach the surface." The crew worked quickly, setting the submarine's nuclear reactor to self-destruct. Heller sent the surviving crew to the escape pods, refusing to leave until the job was done. "You've done enough, Commander," Morales said as she climbed into the last pod. "Come with us." "Someone has to make sure it stays down," Heller replied. As the escape pods ascended, the Leviathan's reactor reached critical mass. The resulting explosion lit up the trench, vaporizing the creature and the submarine. The shockwave rippled through the water, scattering debris into the abyss. From the pods, the crew watched in silence, knowing their commander had made the ultimate sacrifice. Months later, the surviving crew was debriefed in secret. The official report classified the incident as an equipment failure, but those who had been there knew the truth. The ocean's depths held horrors beyond imagination, and though the creature was gone, the abyss still whispered its secrets. Morales, Jensen, and Carter each carried the weight of what they had seen, vowing to honor Heller's memory. The Mariana Trench remained a no-go zone, a place where humanity dared not tread again. But deep below, in the silence of the abyss, something stirred once more. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. We hope you enjoyed our stories. If you have any interesting, creepy, or downright strange stories you'd like to share, we'd love to hear them. Send them to our email, and who knows, your story might just make it into our next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tale. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.